Welcome back, learners. In this session, we are going to discuss very interesting topic, and that is use of psychological tests in the selection process by Human Resource Development Department. So let us understand what the psychological tests are and why they are used. So in this section, we are going to discuss three things. First is characteristics of the psychological test. Second is their importance in the selection process. And third is some of the types of psychological tests. So let us start with first, what are the characteristics of these tests? So whenever we are talking about any test, that test has to be some validity, reliability, and some of the qualities that are accepted by the people. So the first characteristic that a test should have is assumption. Any test, whether you might have learnt about many laws in the science or anywhere else, you will always find that there are certain assumptions that are prerequisite conditions in which this test to be held, and this test will give you the expected results. Those we call as assumptions. So if the test is not having any assumption, it will give haphazard results, and those results will vary. For example, if in the 16 personality factor test there are 285 questions set, then you cannot say that okay, if there is a short time, one has to appear only for 100 questions. So the assumption is there will be 285 questions. The assumption is the appearing person must know that he is going to appear for certain test. Another example of this assumption is he will be told that okay, you have to answer whatever comes to your mind first out of those options given. So these are certain assumptions. If these assumptions are followed, then and then only we can say that the test will be applicable and it will give expected results. Second is standardization. This test has to be standardized. You cannot change the test for different type of test. No, the test will be same, and the standardization will also be same, like the number of tests, the number of questions in the test, or if it is a practical test, not an MCQs but through interviews or in whatever way it is. So it has to have a standard. So here I can put one example is, let us say the standardization means set of questions, number of questions is one standard, then its evaluation is also another standard, and third is who is evaluating. So an expert psychologist practicing these things has to be an evaluator of it. Nobody can just see the pencils and the markings and say okay, this is the personality type of the person. No. So there are standards, and every word that is included in these tests have to be defined, and the person who is conducting these tests must know the meanings of those things. In the process of test, if the appearant is having certain problems, so the observer or the administrator of the test must be able to solve those queries. Sometimes these tests don't allow the candidate or the participant to ask any questions. So he must be given certain information or instructions prior to the test that okay, once the test starts, you are not supposed to ask any questions. So this is also a standard operating procedure kind of thing which is followed for every test. So it has certain prerequisites and standards. And third is objectivity. For what purpose you are taking that test? It should have some objective. So if you are taking a personality test, then the result should tell you what kind of personality it is. So that test itself has to give you the result that personality A or personality B type will be evaluated once the test is done and the results are evaluated. So for example, for the type of marketing job, extroversion quality is required. That is the characteristic or trait of a person's personality which helps to build up a connection with the people, and if the person is social and outgoing, it becomes easy for him to communicate with the people. So there is extrovert quality which is required. So if you are taking a personality test to derive the person's introvert or extrovert personality, then it should tell you that it is one of the type which is calculated or evaluated after the result of the test. So objectivity has to be there. Then it's reliability. How much reliable that test is. Can we really rely on that test? Yes or no? So who will give this answer? It is always talk about all these personality tests that they are not enough or they are not giving you exact results. Fair enough. Not every person is exact in his own actions, so how they will give the exact results. But they have been evolved over a period of time, and they are helping the recruiters or selectors to tally with the results and actual observations. So none of the test alone is enough, and that is why we require a set of various or a combination of various tests to be used in the selection process. And that's why you will find that you have to first appear for the return test, then they go for interviews. In interviews also there is one HR round, there is technical round, and then for the selection or fixing your salary there is another HR round. These tests will go on because they are every time checking out your attributes, and why they are required we will discuss later. So reliability test, how much this test is reliable. That means every time the same person is appearing for the same test will give you similar results. For example, there is a test of 100 questions and the person has appeared for the test and he has responded to the answers as per his understanding or choice. If you give the same test to the person after some certain days, he must click the same answers, or almost there should be no variations in answers. Then we can say yes, the test in the similar situations with the same person with the same set of questions is giving you the same results which were acquired on the first time. So first time, second time, third time, it is repeating, it is giving similar results, no variation. That means yes, it is reliable. Every time it gives you the similar results. Then this test can be, if it is test to check the personality, then whether you give it to personality of person X, Y or Z, it will give you only personality type results. So this is the reliability. How you can check it? So there are three ways I have noted here. One is test and retest, what we talked about. Second is equivalent forms. So if you have checked the personality with one form or one set of questions, you can again check the personality if you are not sure. Okay, that person is talking something else and its personality results are showing something else. So you can again take more tests. It can be the same test as we take as talk about test and retest, or it can be similar set of questions with similar meanings, but the wordings are different or the questions are different, but it is almost checking the same thing, that is the type of personality. We call it as equivalent forms, and those are given, and then the results of both the forms are matched and they should be given. Okay, form 1 is also giving you the type of introvert personality, and form 2 is also telling you that yes, the person is introvert. So this is how the reliability tests are done. So first is test retest, second is equivalent forms, and third is split helps. This test tells that you take only single test and divide it into two parts. If first part of the test is showing the introvert personality, the second part of the test should also tell you that the person is introvert. This is how you can check and cross check and come to a conclusion. But yes, never it is just a one click or a one shot procedure. That's why we have to undergo so many stages. The next is validity. How valid this test is? Can we check? Yes, there are 5 points I have noted down here with the combination of which we can test. So when you are talking to a person, as he has given a test for personality and form tells you that the person is introvert. If you talk to that person with certain pre-designed set of questions for the communication which can make you understand that yes, this is a personality introvert type, then you are checking it and making it valid. There comes more validity and the credibility will increase of the test once you check face to face, that is face, content, what he is talking. Is he talking the content which really tells you the introvert personality? Yes, then it can be again verified. So for verification, you have other coordinates and it should be concurrent, it should be predictive and construct also. So with the predictive, it means if we have decided or we are seeing that the person is introvert, that means in the future also this introvert personality is expected to behave as an introvert, right? So it is predictive, and that is why if the test has to have validity, means it has to prove itself whatever results it's giving you. And the last is utility. Is it useful to take this test for a hirer? Yes, then it should be used. If not, then it should not be used or it can be modified. So how a person will come to know whether it is useful or not? Very interesting question. So it will take time. So with the persons you have taken this test prior and appointed them, you can cross-check their behavior for several days or months, and then again, so when we talk about a person's personality is introvert, so test has stood its reliability and validity. So that is why even after 6 months the personality type will be shown as introvert. This is what the interesting part of this test are. So that is why we say that there are certain assumptions or characteristics this test possesses and those can be verified. You will always find that yes, they work, but this confirmation will be more prominent if the tests are really taken on standard conditions and as per the standard assumptions. So when you are taking any test, there is one prerequisite that the candidate must be informed. There should be less human interference. Why? Because if somebody is standing aside you and you have to give test, you will feel uncomfortable. You will try to idealize your answers. So even if there is a question that do you feel good when you talk to people and your answer is no, but somebody is standing beside you and checking out your answer, you might click yes, right? So that will allow him to manipulate his answers and allow him to think about idealizing his answers, which should not happen. Otherwise it will give you the wrong picture. And that is why less human interference, yet having some observer or administrator to be sure that he is responding. And also there are certain sections in the test where the candidate might feel uncomfortable. So the observer must know at what point he felt uncomfortable. His uncomfort must be reflected in the answers of his test at that particular of time. So that is why this is all is requiring the expertise and experts to design it, to observe it and also to evaluate it. So companies are paying hefty amounts to psychologists and industrial experts who are designing them the interviews and also the whole interview procedures, whether it is a written test or it is a set of questions to be asked face-to-face interviews. So we have seen the characteristics. Let us understand what is the importance of this test. So who is coming into my organization is very important for me, because that person is coming into my organization to help me achieve my goals, help himself also to achieve. If that person is representing my company, then obviously I would want someone good to represent on my behalf. So this is what is happening, and that person is also having certain capabilities which will allow him to grow, which will let my company to grow, and it will also support others to grow with him. So it is not just one or two part that the person is growing, so it is good, or the person is helping the company, it is good. It also has not to be a problematic to his peers. So whether the person is able to connect with my peers or colleagues is also important, because it is giving you the team building or team spirit attribute. So it is required. The first thing is it helps to understand the person, the personality type, and what it helps to understand overall is these points. What is the personality type? What kind of values that person is carrying? So is he manipulative? Are his values high or low? Or what kind of leadership competencies he is having? Because if the person grows into the organization, after a certain period of time, that person will lead also. So is that the type of personality which gives a good performance but which do not let others to grow, or there is a problem of delegation? How is the ego of that person? That can be checked. And if you are taking some person which suits your exact requirements, it's a win-win situation for both. What are the types of skills he is having? What are his interests? What is the emotional aptitude of the person? How is he behaving into the social quotient? Is it emotional intelligence? What is the decision making ability of the person? Is how he handles the complex situations? What are his competency, and also what is the management skills? Whether that person is functional or not. It can all be analyzed with the help of these tests. Friends, every question in this test asked or to be written, answered of, is a designed question, and every question indicates some of the attributes of these, and that is what it makes very interesting and important for the person, and that is why companies are also spending that much money. So it helps to predict how the person will behave. Now the artificial intelligence has come where the robots are taking the interviews. So can you ask yourself a question, how a robot can judge a person's personality? So there is a set of question and expected answers which are fed in that robot, and on that basis the robot will judge. So it is ultimately the humans who are feeding the data in the robots. So you will have to try to understand that why humans are the assets. If these humans are creating some wrong assets, they will give you the wrong results, and vice versa. Helps to know the styles and qualities of intellectual functioning of the person, how intellectually the person will function, and also it helps to know, I have taken these points on the basis of 16P of personality test, where there are 16 personality factors of the person which helps him to grow as a manager or leader. So this type of test is generally taken for the people who are at the managerial positions or some significant positions where they have to also lead, and how they are managing themselves, what kind of person. So how is their aggression level, how is the support system they can provide to themselves and others. Are they introvert or extrovert? That is also included here. Are they dependent or independent emotionally and mentally? That can also be judged. So this all is helping. So it is quite a complex thing, and that is why we are saying that there are a set of tests required. And it also helps to know the best fit of for the organization. So this is the importance of these tests, why these are conducted. So let us in short just know what are types of tests, because in the next lecture we will be discussing them in detail, that what personality tests are conducted. So at a gross, I have just listed 4 of them. First is general ability test. So it is very simple. If you are hiring some person for accounting procedure or accounting job, then the person is expected to know the basics of accounting, fundamentals of accounting, how he can do the journal entries, and how he can also rectify the errors. These are some basics for that job description. So the questions related to those functions can be asked. So this is the general ability test. So even the intelligent quotient is also an example, and there are certain tests like WAIS, which we will discuss in the later, which also helps to understand the adult's ability to deal the job or specification. The next is aptitude and achievement test. So aptitude is generally related to the present ability of the person to deal with the situations, whereas achievement tests are designed to know and predict how he will be behaving in the future. Personality test we have talked a lot about. 16PF and MBTI are very popular, although they are just the tools because they are just telling you what the person is. But you will have to make sure that when the person is appearing for the test, it is the most suitable conditions to appear for the test. You cannot tell some person who is in stress or who is emotionally feeling high or low, and if that person in that situation responds to these tests, the results might vary and they will deviate like anything. So do not take that, and that's why we were talking about the standardizations. Interest is. Sometimes it happens that the person is interested in something but he is not having the ability to do that. For example, a person is having very good drawing or sketching skills. He is having 3D, what we talk, the attribute is 3D visualization, which is also part of competitive test often. Verbal aptitude, we check it. So 3D visualization is very good, but he is not having interest. He is not inclined to do that drawing or sketching. So ability is there, but interest is not there. So someone, if you are hiring someone who is having very good marks in accounting, and he is also applying for the accounting job because he also knows that he had scored very good in accounting, but he is not having any interest to do the journal entries for the company, sitting on the software. That might vary it, and you can just check this deviation with the help of this test. That is why they are very interesting. So we will discuss in length what are these tests, how they are conducted, what are the prerequisites, and what companies usually use which test. So unless I bring you the next management lesson, keep watching and keep learning. Thank you.